like anything, what is the government going to do? They're going to get in there and they're going to try to mess this up. As always, they always do this. They want to say that, well, you shouldn't have been pointing at a gun at people and it's your property, but kind of not really. And we're going to figure out how to charge you with a crime and make your life miserable. And of course, that is exactly what they are doing out of St. Louis. St. Louis prosecutor Kimberly Gardner wrote one of the dumbest things that I've ever seen, ever, for this situation. But here it is. Let's take a look at it. So Kimberly Gardner is working to find charges against an armed couple for intimidation of peaceful protesters. So she calls it intimidation and she calls them peaceful protesters. I just showed you the gate. Was that peaceful or not? Here's what she says. She says, I am alarmed at the events that occurred over the weekend where peaceful protesters were met by guns and a violent assault. What is she even talking about? Did she watch the same video? Did she see those pictures that I saw? Peaceful protesters were walking through private property on a private drive after they broke a gate down. We must protect the right to peacefully protest, and any attempt to chill it through intimidation or threat of deadly force will not be tolerated. My office, currently working with the public and police to investigate these events. Make no mistakes, we will not tolerate the use of force against those exercising First Amendment rights and the full power of Missouri law to hold people accountable. So again, look, if they're on public property, I would agree with that. My understanding is they're on private property. He's shouting it. Looks like it's private property. There's a gate. They broke the gate down. And, this is all subject to change. If she comes and tells me that this guy's standing in the middle of a Walmart with a gun, that's a different situation. But if he's in his home, and from everything that I saw in that video, he's standing right, he's on his front porch, and then he's basically, right on sort of the eve of his property. So I don't know what she's talking about threatening, intimidating. They broke a gate and they were in an area where they shouldn't have been. He's of course got a right. Hey, you're also talking about defunding the police and the police not showing up. So what is this person supposed to do? Do you want him to call you to come over and help him or his family? Should he just say, yeah, come on into my home, come on in and take whatever you want. Have a field day, have fun. What's mine is yours. It's asinine. Okay, let's hear what she has to say about this. Here is her video. Here's her press release.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Gardner, Circuit Attorney for the City of St. Louis, and I am disturbed by the events that occurred over this weekend where there were peaceful protesters who were met with guns and a violent assault. We must protect the rights to peacefully protest, and any attempts to chill it through intimidation or use of force will not be tolerated. Since learning of these events over this weekend, I've worked with the public and the police to investigate these tragic events. Make no mistake, the Circuit Attorney's Office will not tolerate the use of force or intimidation to affect the rights of individuals to peacefully protest and to protect their First Amendment right. And I will use every extent of Missouri law to hold individuals accountable.
Yeah, okay. It's one of those things, there's decorum between attorneys. You're supposed to not badmouth other lawyers, other prosecutors, other judges, other, the legal institutions. You're not supposed to badmouth them too badly. You're just not. It's kind of just like a professional courtesy. And there's also some rules in the ethical rules, like you're really not supposed to badmouth the courts too much. You don't want to undermine the public's faith in our justice system or in our judicial system. You're just not, it's kind of bad form to do that. But I will tell you point blank that this is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen out of a prosecutor ever. I see a lot of dumb stuff, but for her to go and sort of what she's doing right here is trying to piggyback on a movement. She is saying, that I'm gonna totally exploit this peaceful protest thing, this Black Lives Matter thing, this whole movement. She wants to jump on the back of that movement and ride this thing. And it's overlooking what is actually right in this case. It's overlooking that. And when you see a prosecutor who's making this language, like when they're looking, so she says, make no mistake, I'm going to use the full power of Missouri law to hold people accountable. We're investigating these events. They've got, they're basically unleashing the power of the prosecutor's office and of the investigatory force of St. Louis to go and try to destroy these people. She's looking at the facts of the case. We all saw the videos. Is there a statute on the books that what they did was illegal? If there was, then charge them for that. If there's no inclination of self-defense, none of that stuff, then go charge them. But to come out, make this statement and release a public statement about it and write something in writing and say, I'm gonna go look for something to charge these guys. It's not because they committed a crime. She's not mad about that. She's mad about the politics. She's mad about the just how it looks. And she wants to clap back on it. She wants to smack them in the head and say, you can't do that. And she wants to make a political statement. This is not a prosecutorial statement. These people didn't do anything wrong by almost anybody's account. If they're on private property and there's people breaking into their property and doing Lord knows what, grabbing your gun and standing there, it's pretty reasonable. Most of these cops would be well served to just grab a gun and stand there, but they actually fire them off. These guys had more. This husband and wife had more discipline than most of the cops we've been talking about. And she's going to go charge them with a crime for just protecting their residents. I mean, it's asinine. And, it's one of those things, like I said, you're not supposed to badmouth these prosecutors, but this is very, very, very poor. Prosecutors swear a special oath. They're supposed to just prosecute crimes where there's a crime. I mean, they're supposed to do the right thing and, not file frivolous charges and those things. And this lady is making a political statement. She's not being a good prosecutor. I think she's violating her oath of office, and she should be ashamed of herself. So she's a very bad prosecutor. Kimberly Gardner, very bad prosecutor. In addition to the bad popo, we've got a lot of bad hombres and bad mujeres on the show. Kimberly Gardner joins the bad mujeres club.